What's going on, guys? Have a little bit of a head scratcher here. Welcome back to the shop. This is a 2023 YZ250F. Runs good for the most part. The owner says it runs good, except every so often when he goes to get in the throttle, come out of a corner, it bogs. It just goes brrrr, and it dies. I asked him, have you tried fiddling the throttle as it's dying to maybe keep it alive? He says, no, I don't think I did. I just stayed in the throttle till it dies. But it's done it a few times to him, and we haven't quite figured it out yet. So if you have a YZ450 from 2018 to current, or a YZ250F from 2019 to current, and you're looking to change your throttle position sensor and you're going to have to adjust it when you're done changing it, this video is going to show you how to do that without having the Yamaha diagnostic tool, the $500 and something tool. All you'll need is a multimeter. Let's get started. About a week ago, I gave it a good looking over. I did find some wires that were starting. These YZ250Fs and 450s are known to kind of dig into the wires that run right between the frame and the radiator here. But the wires that were getting cut into were for the gear selection sensor, so I don't think that would cause an issue. And I repaired them. They were just starting to show the insulation getting rubbed into and starting to show some of the bare wires. I repaired them. That should be fine. Another thing why I did when it was here, well, I found also the intake coolant sensor unplugged here. Now, he doesn't know if he accidentally unplugged it while he was trying to unplug the kill switch, because he thought maybe the kill switch is what was causing the bogging issue, or if it's been unplugged all along. We don't know, but I corrected that. We put a new spark plug in it, and just for good measure, I thought, well, maybe it could be the fuel pump. Unless I can check it while it's bogging, while it's doing it, I can't really tell you if it's good or bad, because on the bench it's testing good. When it's cold, it's testing good. I tried running on the bench for a while to see maybe once it ran for a while if it would act up, and it didn't. But we had another fuel pump here, a good used one. We popped that in. He took the bike back. I thought maybe it was fixed, but nope. He says it's still doing it. So it's kind of a head scratcher. First thing I'm going to do though is check for diagnostic codes again. I've already checked that. We're going to check it again. We're going to hook up the app to it and try to poke around a little bit, see what we can find. But if we can't find anything, I'm just going to swap out this TPS. I hate just throwing parts at things. I really do. But sometimes that's just what you got to do to figure it out. So the first thing I want to do is hook up the app to the computer. Let's see what we can get off of it. If you never used the Yamaha app before and connect it to your bike, you will need to remove this cover right here. There's a little black box underneath this cover. Pull it off the little rubber boot, look on the back side, and there'll be a number, and that number is basically the password. You're gonna have to plug in that password. After you get access to that password, you hit the button here. You don't start the bike, just hit the button to light up the electronics. For your YZ450 and YZ250F, so let me turn it on here. Look for a network. You'll see it'll pop up in a second here. Yeah, there it is. It's connecting to it already, because I already had the password plugged in for this one. So yeah, got that situated. Now I'm going to open up the Yamaha tuner app here. Let's see, we got Joey's bike right here. Alright. Let's see, I'm going to hit right here that little tachometer. Oh crap, you got to have your GPS on. Let me turn my GPS on. These apps are funny. They demand some stupid stuff sometimes. Alright, it should be working now. Yeah, so we're reading 36 degrees Celsius, 46 degrees Celsius water temperature, 38 air intake temperature. Batteries 13.2. Let's check out the throttle. Let me go to the bike here. I'm going to slowly twist open the throttle. You'll see this right here. Okay. Now the thing is they don't give exact numbers. They only tell you in quarters, which that kind of sucks. I do miss the older one right here that would actually give the exact angle of the throttle body. This one doesn't do that. The beauty of this one was I could actually just put a new TPS on and dial in the TPS just by using the angle of the throttle body. But they don't give us that option with this one, so we're gonna have to do things the old-fashioned way. They do sell a Yamaha diagnostic tool for like $550. Allows you to connect it up to your PC and dial in that way, but I don't have that tool. I'm not looking to spend $500 on it today. But let me go ahead and start the bike up, and I'm going to check these temperatures out. I'm going to watch the water coolant temperature sensor and stuff like that. Make sure all that's working good. Okay, I have the bike idling right now. Don't worry guys, I just got done test riding the bike a few minutes ago. She is fully warm, or she was for the most part. I'm just going to let her warm up a little bit and I'll be right back. Okay. Three. 76 degrees Fahrenheit. And this came out to, yeah, 76 max and 75.4. So we can say the coolant temperature is pretty much accurate. 38 degrees Fahrenheit for the air intake temperature. That's going to be looking good. Let me go ahead and remove the seat and lift up the tank so we can get access to the ECU and all that down there. Well, let me go ahead and start here. Boy, this thing's pretty dirty on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start it up, and as I go along, I'm going to wiggle stuff and jar stuff and just see if we don't have like a loose connection where maybe when he digs it deep in a corner, it causes it to bog and die or whatever. He says it always starts back up and runs fine afterward, but we got to figure this out. Okay, yeah, I even wiggled the electrical connection down at the fuel pump. Everything seems to be good, so let me go ahead and lift the fuel pump up. Oh, you know what? Forgot to check for diagnostic codes. Let's see here. That's going to be where you plug in the maps, I believe, or maintenance. Yeah, it's going to be the maintenance area. Diagnostic code. Nope, there's no codes. Let me go ahead and start her up and see what it says. If something pops up while it's running. No, no codes. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I have a lot of the plastic off. I'm going to start it up and just go around and wiggle stuff. Okay, well, the next thing is to lift the tank up and wiggle all the stuff underneath there. Okay, got the tank strapped on here backwards, so we have access to all this stuff right here. Want to pay attention that the ECU is mounted up properly. Oh, that boot's a little loose there, but let's start it up, wiggle some stuff around. Nope. See, I'm going to go ahead and change out the TPS. Here's the thing with TPSs. A lot of times they can be intermittent. They can do it. They can only act up maybe when they're cold, maybe they're hot. I've seen bikes where if you twist the throttle over and over again, back and forth, then all of a sudden it'll work fine for a while. And a lot of times when they go bad, it's not the whole thing that goes bad. It's just a certain range or a certain area. It's kind of like a volume knob to your old radios. You ever had a volume knob where you turn it up and all of a sudden it has like a scratchy spot, like, or maybe one speaker shuts off or both, and you just kind of wiggle it, and it kind of cleans up and starts working fine, or maybe it never does. Well, that's how these are. That's all a TPS is kind of like a throttle knob, and it's letting the computer know, or a volume knob. It's kind of letting the computer know how much throttle you're giving it. That's really all it is. So we have to we're going to do some investigations before we change it out. These get a lot of dirt in them. They can be really tough to disconnect. Okay, I got it blown out pretty good. Let me see if I can pinch it. No, that thing's so stuck. I'm going to stick a flathead behind it. Try to pinch it in that way. Stick a flat. These things can be really tough when they get dirty. And the funny thing is, I had this thing off just about 2 weeks ago, but he gets this bike so dirty. Dirt in places you never expect dirt to get to. Just take my time here. Okay, I think I'm past the clipping part. Yeah, I am. We're gonna have to get that all cleaned out again. First thing I want to do is blow it out, but I gotta be careful. They got that little rubber thing in there. You don't want that blowing out and losing it. So I usually put a hand over there. Alright. Spray a little WD-40 in here and blow it out again. Get all that muck and crap out of there. Again, I want to put my... Alright. Not so much worried about the throttle position sensor, but because we got a new one, but I'll still spray it down and clean it up anyway, because we have to test this one first so we know where to set the new one to. Now, before we get into changing this out, I do want to say, if this doesn't fix it, we have some other things to try. At that point, we might just try trying out someone else's ECU, seeing if that's the case. I would blame it on the stator. You know, stators can get hot and then act up. However, he says he can fire the bike right back up and it runs fine again for a little bit until he goes in a corner and with no throttle and goes to slam it full throttle again and it acts up again. So that leads me to think that since it's able to start back up, it leads me to believe that it's not just because something is getting hot and acting up like a stator or voltage regulator. It's leading me to believe that it's the throttle position sensor, but we won't know till we test it out. So, but you know, it's only about a $40, $50 part, and at this point we have gotten to the point of process of elimination. So that's what we're doing here. We're checking as much stuff as we can check, and the stuff that is difficult to check, like a intermittent throttle position sensor, we're just replacing it. So using the Yamaha manual here, and I'll put a link in the description if you don't have your manual where you can download it for free. But first thing I'm going to do is check the throttle position sensor input voltage. They say it should be between 4 to 6 volts, and they tell you how to check it right here with certain harnesses, but we're just going to tap into it. I'll show you how I did that. What I'm doing here is taking some safety wire, and you know, you can bend it any way it works best for your fingers, but it's the blue and the black, or black and blue wire here. You want to slide it in there as far as you can safely get it in there. That can be tough. Just wiggle it, get it back behind there. And I'm going to put another one here right where just the blue is. Now you want to make sure that these don't touch each other. You could end up frying an ECU. That one in there far enough, this one in there, I believe it is. Let me angle them like that so they don't touch each other. Connect it back to the bike. Alright. Anytime you do these tests, you got to do a quick jab of the starter button to light up the electrical. There you go. Alright. Let me make sure I got a good connection. I'll show you what we have here. There we go. It's reading 5.01 volts, so it's right in the middle of their 4.5 that the manual said it should be at. So that is good. And really all that's testing is the power that the ECU is sending to the TPS. I figured that's good because the bike's running fine, but I figured I'd check that for video's sake. Okay, let me remove it again. Remember, don't let them two wires touch each other, even when it's disconnected, because that goes all the way to the CDI. So be careful these don't touch each other. Okay, now I'm going to tap into the yellow wire and the black with the blue stripe. Make sure I got them on there good. That should give us a reading. There is another way to get a reading too. I believe it's the solid blue here with the yellow, and that seems to go from high voltage, like about 4 volts, and as you give it throttle, it goes down, or you can hook up the yellow to the black and blue, and that starts at low voltage and goes up as you give it throttle. I choose to go this way, so as long as we can get a good reading, see where it's at now. Now obviously if your TPS is completely shot and you're not getting no readings from it, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to collect a reading ahead of time to be able to set your new one to what the old one was set at. You're just going to have to buy the Yamaha diagnostic tool for like 550 bucks and follow the manual. And again, there's a link in the description for that on how to set it. But since this one is good for the most part, like we know it's at least working, the bike starts up and idles and it does fine. It just, if this is the problem, it's an intermittent one, and throttle position sensors can be intermittent. It gives us the opportunity to set it without buying the Yamaha diagnostic tool. So here's what I have. I have tapped into the yellow and the black and blue, some alligator clip wires going down here to my voltmeter. It's reading 0.45 volts with no throttle. Watch what happens when I go full throttle. Full throttle is reading 3.63. I let go of the throttle, it goes back to 455. If I twist the throttle slowly, let me do that, make sure there's no dead spots in it. I'm just slowly giving it throttle, making sure it just slowly climbs up. Seems to be. Okay, I let go at 455. Let me do that. And now it said 454. So it seems to go from 454 to 455. To be safe, let me stick it on a battery charger while we do this job. Okay, I have it on a battery charger. 0.454. Let me throttle it, let go. 454. Let me crack it a little bit. Let it go down gently. 455. So it seems like if I let the throttle down gently, it stops at about 0.45, 0.5. And if I pin it, let go of it, and drop it, it goes to 0.454. So let me write them numbers down. Okay, you're going to need one of these Torx that are the security bit ones, the ones that have the hole on the end of them. You can buy these on eBay, Amazon. You can get them. Let me see if I get the exact size for you there. You can buy them Harbor Freight, you name it. But they're called security bits. So that's what it takes to loosen this thing up. And they like to strip out. Great. See what I can do here. I would also like to point out one other thing before I go any further. You see how it's reading 0.455, and if you take this throttle position sensor, and even though it's bolted down still, you twist it, try to twist it a little bit, not too hard, but a little bit counterclockwise, and now reads 0.46. I can give it throttle, let it go, and it still falls to that. I can pin it hard, let go, it still falls to that. But if I take it and I twist it clockwise, well, let me give it a little more twist here. There we go. It's back to 455. I can give it throttle, and that's what it goes to now, 454. And that's where we've been all along, 0.454 to 0.455. So keep that in mind when you go to test yours ahead of time. It wouldn't hurt to first try to twist it clockwise first before you take your reading. I just noticed that myself as I was playing with it. I looked down there, it changed a little bit. I haven't even loosened it yet. I believe it's because only one bolt holds it on, so there's always a little, see, I can see it wiggling. There's always a little bit of wiggle up on the other end. So if you twist it to the counterclockwise setting and then take your reading, and then when you go to put it back on, you do the same, and at least you can match up the same setting. All right, got some. There we go. I'm not sure if someone's had a tool on this before or what, but my tool just wouldn't bite it. Well, we got it loose now. I just stuck some vice grips on the head and twisted it. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove it now. Gets disconnected again. Now this tool works no problem. And there's the old crusty one. Alright, let's go get the new one. Okay, let's blow this out. There we go. Alright, new throttle position sensor. There you go. It'll be a little bit springy when you have it right. You see how it's kind of falling back into position here? I'm gonna use a different bolt. I'm gonna use a non-security, just Allen here. I'm gonna put some blue some blue stuck nuts on it. You know, I love my red, but when it comes to little stuff like this, it's not a high heat area either. Blue is good. Tighten her down, put her somewhere in the middle. We still have to set it. Want to work quick though, because I do have blue thread locker on. Okay, I hit the start button, get the system lit. Let me hit it one more time so it doesn't shut off right in the middle. Okay, we got to get it to 0.454 or 0.455. It's so touchy. Let me tighten this up just a hair. But that's, I have to actually slide it to get it. It is so touchy. That's close. Let me tighten it up and see what happens. Because they often... Hey, look at that. Look at that. I hope it doesn't change. Let me continue tightening it up. Oh yeah, it went a little lower. Even lower yet. But I'll keep working on it. I'll get it right. And I'll be right back. But you see what I'm doing. All you have to do is just loosen that bolt back up a little bit. Since I know the number is going to go down as I tighten it up, I'll start with a little higher. So now I got a 461. Let's see what happens when I tighten it up. 453. I'm pretty sure that's good enough, but I want to get it perfect. So I'll keep working at it, and I'll be right back. I think I got it. Watch this. Dropping the throttle, goes right to 454. If I give it throttle and set it down gently, 455. That's where we were before we started the job. Let's see, 454. Yep, we are dead on. So I can go ahead and disconnect all this stuff now. Again, make sure these wires don't touch each other, or the safety wire, or none of it. Make sure that's clipped on there good. Yes, it is. All right, I'm gonna pull this out and re-electrical tape all this. This is a mess. So let me take care of that. This boot, the electrical tape on this stuff gets nasty after a while. I'll replace all that. Okay, let's give it a quick test fire. That's good. Oh, and one quick reminder, that 0.454 or 0.455 reading I was getting, that was after I bolted the throttle position sensor down and taking it and trying to force it a little bit counterclockwise, and then taking the reading. That's where I was getting the reading from, because like I showed you a minute ago, you can kind of twist it up a little bit, twist it down a little bit, and change the reading just a little bit, because there's only one bolt that holds this down, so the other side has a little bit of wiggle to it. But that's how I got the exact same setting as the one we pulled off. Okay, bike's all back together. I went ahead and checked the gear selector. Remember, I had to repair the wires up here, so I disconnected it from back here and stuck a voltmeter in there and probed it, made sure everything was still good there, and it is. So again, you know, we're trying to chase down the issue on this bike. But let's go and start it up, make sure the throttle position sensor's working good and the bike's running good, and then we'll talk about this a little bit more afterward. Alright, got the door open in the shop here. Alright, let me go ahead and turn on the app. Okay, got the app on and running. Set that there. Check the throttle position sensor. I'm going to slowly give it throttle. 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks. Bam. Alright, let's fire her up again. Well, obviously everything still seems fine, so hopefully that did the trick. Double checking one more time, no diagnostic code, so that's good. Alright, so hopefully that does the trick. Again, throttle position sensors can be intermittent. They can act up, and they can act up in only certain throttle ranges. They're funny. They can definitely cause some gremlins. So I'm hoping that that's what it is. He did mention that it would often pop right when it's bogging and dying. It would pop once or twice or whatever. A pop is usually an indicator of running too lean, and that's what's going to happen when your throttle position sensor acts up, is it's just going to lean out the system real bad. And so we're hoping that does the trick. Like I mentioned, I've already replaced the fuel pump with a known good fuel pump. Still did it. Chased down a couple wire issues with the gear selector sensor and the air box sensor being unplugged. We put a new spark plug in it. We've kind of covered everything for the most part up to this point. So before I go any further, all I really can do now is just have him put it on the track and test it out and see if that did the trick. Beavis is over there. He does not like this thunderstorm that's coming in. If that doesn't do the trick, I mean, I'll poke around a little bit more. Like I said, I don't believe it's a stator, because when it shuts off, he's able to start right back up and continue riding. I haven't ridden it myself on the track. I test rode it over here, like I said, and I couldn't get it to do the problem. But over here, all I have is a grass field to ride it in. Maybe I'll run into Joey this weekend while he has a bike, give it a test ride myself. I'd like to see what it's doing myself. But as right now, I'm taking his word for it, what he's telling me, the feedback he's giving me. And this is where we're going with it. If it keeps doing it, I think I'll try a different CDI. I'll borrow one from my brother, see if that does a trick. CDIs can be pretty funny, especially when they now have the tip over lean angle sensor, as they call it, but it's a tip over sensor built into the CDI. You always have to make sure your CDI is bolted upright and in proper position. That's one of the things I check when I pull off the seat in the tank, and it is. But they can sometimes cause little gremlins. Sometimes you just have to chuck a CDI and put another one in. Another thing that can cause little gremlins, which I was not able to check with this right here. With the old one you can check it, but with this one you can't. They had more stuff on that, believe it or not. But anyway, was the what do they call it? The barometric pressure sensor. Now, because it is generally running good, I assume the barometric pressure sensor is fine. But I have seen bikes before where the barometric pressure sensors go bad, and they can also cause some funky running issues. So that's where I'll be going next if this doesn't do the trick. Hopefully it does. But if you're watching this video and you're wondering, did that do the trick or not, check down in the description. I will update down the road if this did the trick and it fixed it, or if it didn't, what we found did. Weekend, I'm going out to 74 MX. I'm going to be taking out the 2022 YZ250 stroke. I'm actually still working on the suspension a little bit more. I was at Dade City last week. I added one more click low speed compression, and that brought quite a bit more control in some of the sweepers that have like bumps and stuff. So I'm looking forward to giving that another shot this weekend and fooling around with that a little bit. I hope all you guys have a great week on riding wherever you're at. Appreciate all my subscribers and all my viewers and you guys that comment on these videos. Man, I love you guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for watching these videos. Catch you next time.